How's it going? So today we're going to play some games with Palafin TEF since it is finally working on live. Now Palafin is a stage 1 water Pokemon with 340 hit points with the attack Giga Impact for 1 water energy that does 250 damage, and then we can't use it next turn. Those are some insane stats for a stage 1 Pokemon. So of course there's a catch. It does have the ability that says it can only be put into play with Palafin's 0 to Hero ability, which is the single prize stage 1 version of it that says when we switch it from the active to the bench, we can grab a Palafin TEF out of our deck and switch it with this Pokemon. So it is kind of hard to get into play, but it does shuffle the regular Palafin back into our deck, so we only have to play 3 of them. And we do play the 4 switch cards and 2 Jet Energy as well as an Abra to try and help get that play off. Abra has the teleporter ability that says we can shuffle it back into our deck when it's in the active spot. So we just put the Palafin onto the bench, switch it with the EX, and then shuffle Abra back in, and then we can start attacking. We also have the other single prize Palafin that does 130 for 1 water energy, which is pretty good. It does do 10 damage to itself for every damage counter on it. So if it was hit into for like 80 damage, we would knock ourselves out. It does have 150 HP though, so it is a pretty tanky single prize attacker. I opted for 2 of the 50 hit point Finizens and two of the 70 hit point ones, because the 50 hit point one has the attack for 1 water that we can switch it to the bench and evolve it from our deck, so that can definitely come in handy if we go second. And our draw engine is going to be Greninja, of course, and a 2/2 Bibarel line. You know, Bibarel draws our hand to 5, it's just a good card. There's a 1/1 Palkia in here to power up our Greninja, and also kind of a more stable attacker because switching every turn can be kind of a pain. For the supporters, I have 4 Irida, of course, and 2 Iono, 2 Boss, 1 Kieran. Kieran says it can be a switch card, or it can let our Pokemon do 30 more damage to our opponent's active EX or V, so that can help Palafin hit some bigger numbers. I also threw 2 Judge in there. I don't know how good that is. I figured that attacking with a 340 hit point Pokemon and judging your opponent to 4 would put a lot of pressure on, but I don't know if I really got to use the Judge at all. The A spec is Prime Catcher. That seems like a no-brainer. You know, lets us switch, and of course we have a Defiance Band to hit 280, which is a very good number to hit. And I put 2 Rescue Board because we don't have Arvin or anything, so we want to be able to find that pretty consistently. And oftentimes I was putting a Rescue Board onto a baby Palafin to get it to the bench, and then I would also want one for like Greninja or something for later. But that's the deck. Let's get into the games. So this first game, it looks like we're up against Future Hands. This does seem like a really hard matchup, but it's going to be kind of hard for them to take 3 prizes. On our Palafins, we do have a lot of HP. They would have to hit for 180, which isn't unheard of for the Future deck. They do need 3 Iron Crown EXs on the bench though, but I get a pretty decent setup here. I can Iono and hope to hit like a switch or something and a water energy and then get attacking, but we do end up getting Iono'd ourselves into a even better hand probably, because I can evolve to Bibarel, evolve into the Palafin, switch to the Abra and put the Abra back in the deck and just knock out whatever's in the active spot. If they move to a Miraidon, I'll probably Irida for our Prime Catcher, which looks like that is what they're going to end up doing. Now, if we get the first 2 prizes and they're not able to just take 3 prizes next turn, I don't know, we're in a pretty good spot. They can't even knock out my Finizen. That's kind of pretty awesome. I might even be able to get out 2 Palafin EXs this turn. I can Irida for Prime Catcher and another Palafin, or maybe I'll just go for a Nest Ball. I don't know. I thought I think I should have got Prime Catcher there. That can just get out double Palafin EX, Prime Catcher up the Iron Hands and knock it out. That seems like a bit of a mistake. I don't know what I really wanted to get here more than knocking out a 2 prize Pokemon. That is kind of embarrassing that I did that, but you know, it's just the way it goes sometimes. I really wanted Greninja down, I suppose. That, I don't know. Maybe I was thinking that I didn't want them to get multiple attacks off with the Miraidon and really build up their bench. And now if they don't have a lightning energy in their hand, maybe they can't even knock me out. They probably have a lightning because they promoted up this Iron Hands. I would imagine they'd promote the one with free retreat if they didn't have a lightning, but actually they don't. I'm wrong. What do I know? And they do get a research though. I'm assuming they're going to be knocking me out this turn. I should have also looked to knock out the Miraidon with the single prize Palafin. That it seems like I made a lot of mistakes in that turn. This is probably one of the first games that I played with this deck, so it does not seem like I'm playing the best. I think I realized that at the time that I probably either should have gotten Prime Catcher or attacked with the one prize Palafin, but not till after the fact. Sometimes you rewatch your games and you're just like, what was I thinking? So that's why it's kind of nice to watch games after the fact, because you can really get a better perspective as to what's going on when during the game. It's kind of hard to see exactly what you're doing wrong sometimes because you're so like into the game and in the moment and caught into the train of thought that you had or that you have at the moment. But I'm not even going to play a supporter card. Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured I should at least Irida thin out my deck a little bit. Get the Prime Catcher for next turn. Now this game is going to be kind of hard after this point. I need to get out another Palafin, and I didn't even see if I had one in my deck. I might have to Prime Catcher the Miraidon and knock it out with the single prize Palafin. But they do play an Arven. I wonder what they're planning to do this turn. They get their own Prime Catcher. I don't know what they could want to knock out that other than what is in my active spot. Maybe they just really want to use Ampy very much. I think some people do kind of get into that kind of trap sometimes where they think Amp is just better than using the other attack. They do end up using Arm Press. That's good. That is definitely correct. At least one of us is playing well. But if I'm able to knock out this Iron Hands, I don't really know what my opponent can do to respond to it. And I must have another Palafin in the deck, which is good. I was running 2 Palafin EXs at one point, but then I was running into situations like this where I would want 3. Even though really in this spot, I should have only needed 2 Palafin because I kind of messed up by using the wrong attacker at the beginning of the game. And I'm just thinning my hand out, kind of expecting an Iono. I can throw the Abra on my bench because if they Iono me, then all I'll need is a switch card to switch into the Abra and then put it back into the deck. I don't attach the Defiance Band anywhere. I probably should have put it onto the single prize Palafin because I want to leave the option on the EX for a rescue board in case I have to retreat into the Abra or just retreat into the Abra to reset my attack. But they Arven, so I am going to keep my hand. So it looks like I will be winning this game. I could just use Kieran to switch into the Abra and put it back in the deck. Really, without the Abra, I don't even think this deck would be possible. It would be a lot better with Escape Rope if we didn't have that, but we don't have it, so there's only one card that can actually switch our Palafin EX on an item card other than Jet Energy, and a lot of the time you do want to attach water for turn. I could just Prime Catcher here, retreat the Abra, and knock out the Iron Hands. I do get the thumbs up, but end up taking that one down with Palafin EX. So this game we are up against Regidrago, and I'm going first here. Please don't do this. Do not put 3 Pokemon into play before your first turn. There's just no need to do that. It only can hurt you. Nothing good can come from it. Your hand's not going to get disrupted. Your only Pokemon in play is not going to get knocked out. But this is when I was still playing switch cards in the deck. I started with 4 and slowly just cut them out of the deck because they were almost useless. Like, it could be good for this exact turn where I switch card the Greninja, but I can also just rescue board the Greninja and then switch the Finizen to the Abra and kind of achieve the same exact effect. My opponent is getting a fine start here. They got their Dragapult into the discard pile, which is all they really want. I put both of my 50 HP Finizens in play because I want to get those evolved up while I still can. This might be when I was only playing 2 Palafin EX as well, which ended up deciding that 3 was probably a lot better. They do just rip that first attack on Regidrago that discards the top 3 of your deck, and then you can attach any energy there. They do hit a grass, that's pretty good. Probably going to knock them out this turn. I'm pretty sure I have everything. Yeah, I definitely have everything now. I can just switch cards, switch and retreat, and probably get 2 Palafin. Now, I'll find out if I did not have 3 Palafin EX in the deck at this point. I did have a Super Rod though, but this is like a perfect example of why 3 Palafins are better, because I could have just gotten out 2 Palafin EX this turn instead of just the 1. I am going to evolve my other Finizen into the baby Palafin just to be able to keep attacking. I can hold on to the switch cart as well to have a guaranteed reset next turn. One of the coolest parts about the Palafin with the 0 to hero ability is that it shuffles back into the deck. So you'll only really need to play 3 of those, and like since I just put 1 back in, I can discard the other 2 and still have 1 in my deck. I kind of wish I put the rescue board onto the Greninja rewatching this back, but the switch card just made it kind of awkward, where I thought that switch carding the Greninja was better, but looking back at it now, I don't have an automatic way to pivot back into the Palafin. This is also another good reason why Choice Band or Choice Belt, whatever the new one's called, would be better probably than the Defiance Band, because like Regidrago, I'm not behind, I can't knock it out. They might use Goodra's attack anyway, but it would be nice to have the option to knock out this Regidrago with my guy. It does have rescue board on it, but I probably wouldn't have put it on there if I had the Choice Band. They do hit me with Rolling Iron though, it looks like, so I'm only going to be able to do 170 damage this turn, which is not ideal. If I do find my Prime Catcher, that would be nice, which I do. So I can take 2 prizes this turn, and then I'm just left trying to figure out a way to get through this active Regidrago. Just really debating where to put the rescue board here. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I should just attach it. I put the Abra back into the deck so that they can't get a free prize with Dragapult. Now I'm just going to bring up, the other Regi, I think. Oh no, I do end up going for the Ogerpon. I don't know, that's kind of hard to guess which one is better there. Getting rid of that does remove an energy from play. And there is a world where they could have knocked me out with that Ogerpon by just accelerating and attaching. I guess if they did that, they would just lose, so I should kind of welcome that. Probably should have knocked out the other VSTAR. I think I had some other regular Regidrago V. I probably had some convoluted reason at the time as to why I didn't. But they are just gonna knock out my Greninja? I don't know about that. I think they should have just taken out my my Palafin EX. That seems really good. That's the only way I can do big damage right now. I don't know if they're worried about like Palkia VSTAR charging up the Greninja, but there's really nothing to worry about there. Now I have a completely dead hand though, and I think this is the game of why I was like, oh, all right, maybe a Bibarel is just needed in this deck, or the Dunsparce. I thought about the Dunsparce, but there's something just really nice about Bibarel. You just get it in play. You can draw to 5 for the rest of the game. You don't have to reset it up every turn, which can definitely be a pain in a deck like this to reuse the Dunsparce. I Ultra Ball my whole hand away to get the Palkia VSTAR because I apparently don't know how to do math, and I was thinking that I could knock out this Regidrago next turn with my Palkia. For some reason I thought that I was going to do 180 damage to the Drago, but I only do 170, so there's no way that I'm knocking this thing out next turn. I could have just held the Ultra Ball, and most importantly the Artazon, so that I could get another Pokemon into play to hit a little bit harder with my Palkia VSTAR. Now I can just throw that up and charge it up and start attacking with it. It does kind of suck that I was never able to get more than 2 water energy into the discard pile. I would love to be able to put a water somewhere else here, but I just didn't really draw them this game, which is kind of unfortunate, and definitely something that happens because you have a kind of low count of water. There's only like 5 or 6 or 6 or 7 in there, but most of the attackers only need 1 water energy anyway, so you don't really want to fill your deck with energy that you don't really need. But I don't know if they're going to be able to knock me out this turn. Looks like they are going to move this drag out to the bench though. And yeah, I don't know what exactly they were doing there. I think they were thinking that they could attack with the other VSTAR and retreat the active one to the bench, but they energy switched off the active. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake for my opponent, but end up winning that one. That would have got kind of scary if they did move that one to the bench and keep using Rolling Iron. I guess I had a couple boss left, so definitely likely to top deck it. But that's Palafin. I don't know if it's the best deck. It seems way better than it is. It can be really clunky to get going, and it's basically made of bricks. But I did want to put out a video on it, and I wanted to put a video out today because I haven't put one out in the last like 3 or 4 days. I was at my friend's house all weekend, and I wanted to either get better games with Palafin or play another deck. Like I saw the Toad Scroll deck, like a lot of people are liking that, and it seems pretty cool. But I got a new mic. I was trying all day to figure out how to get it to sound right, and I still don't think it sounds that great, so I'm gonna mess around with that some more. And I wanted to just record this while I still could and at least put something out. But hope you guys have a good day and take care.